Good morning. I am Dr. Dhanalakshmi, School of History and Tourism Studies. Now I am going to discuss about the introduction to ecotourism. Now we can see what is ecotourism. Actually, tourism is the practice of traveling for recreation. It involves travel to the destinations outside the normal places of stay with a purpose to relax and refresh. Heritage, which includes cultural heritage, social heritage, and natural heritage, acts as a strong pull force on the tourist. They constitute the fundamental situations of almost all the destinations. While the traditional forms of tourism were basically cultural tourism, social tourism, and religious tourism, with the expansion of the tourism industry and a substantial increase in the number of tourists, both domestic and foreign. With diverse tastes and demands, tourism has different types of tourism. More and more tourists are interested in nature-based tourism only. It is the term which refers to the nice market for the environmentally aware tourists who are interested in observing the nature, making sure not to cause any damage to the environment. Ecotourism, which encompasses a spectrum of the nature-based activities, is one of the most popular and important forms of nature-based tourism. Now, the topic deals with the introduction of tourism, principle of ecotourism, and types of ecotourism, and the global growth and the magnitude of ecotourism. Now, as per the Australian National Ecotourism defines what is ecotourism. Ecotourism as ecologically sustainable tourism with a primary focus on experiencing natural areas that fosters environmental and cultural understanding, appreciation, and conservation. Now, ecotourism has the potential to promote an alliance among the environmental, conventional, and the developmental interests. Now we can see the what are the objectives to lead the such a ecotourism to develop the industry. So now we can see what is ecotourism, the historical evolution of ecotourism, what are the different definitions of ecotourism, and the growing importance of ecotourism, and the what are the significance of ecotourism as a tool for the sustainability. Now we can explain about the what are the environmental awareness in connection with the ecotourism. Ecotourism is an offshoot of environmental awareness as an extension or outgrowth of alternative tourism. Ecotourism has grown as a consequences of the dissatisfaction with the conventional forms of tourism, which have, in a general sense, ignored social and ecological elements of the foreign regions in favor of more anthropocentric and strictly profit-centered approach to the delivery of tourism product. So ecotourism means making as little environmental impact as possible and helping sustain the indigenous populations, thereby encouraging the conservation of wildlife and habitats when visiting a place. This is a responsible form of tourism and tourism development which encourages going back to the natural products in every aspect of life. Ecotourism is a way to fund the conservation and scientific research. Product fragile and pristine ecosystems benefit rural communities, promote development in poor countries, enhance ecological and cultural sensitivity, instill environmental awareness, create a social conscience in the travel industry, and safety and educate the discriminating tourist. Ecotourism within the womb of the environmental movement in the 1970s and 1980s. However, there seems to be a universal acceptance that ecotourism was viable long before the 1980s in practice, through not in name. For example, the American Museum of Natural History is said to have conducted natural history tours ever since 1953, and a more perfect example of the evolution of ecotourism could be found in the African wildlife based examples of tourism development in the early 20th century, apart from some nature tourism enterprises of the mid 19th centuries. So now you can see the definition of the ecotourism. So the concept of ecotourism is one of the ambiguity and dispute. There is no universally accepted definition of ecotourism, nor is there any certifying agency. A common misconception is that ecotourism is just nature-based tourism, that is, the act of being surrounded with nature's little wonders. However, ecotourism by itself is far more complex. Ecotourism has to be ecologically and socially conscious. Since the time the term ecotourism was introduced, it has become a buzzword in the lexicon of practitioners, academics, industry, and the consumer. It is a term commonly used to refer to the rich market for the environmentally aware tourists who are interested in observing nature. The term has been defined in diverse ways depending on the purpose for which it is used. So now how far it's relevant to the green tourism. Green tourism is nothing but is a term that can be applied to any form of tourism that relates to natural environment and cultural heritage of an area, or that undertakes good environmental management in practice. It is sustainable tourism which takes into account the needs of the environment, local residents, business, and visitors. Now in United Nations Environment Programme to prepare and coordinate the supportive activities to be undertaken at the international level during the year. Now, how to help the to promote the ecotourism? The increasing criticism on the negative impact of tourism led to the development of alternative forms of tourism. After the World Summit on Environment and Development in Rio de Janeiro in 1992, the concept of sustainable development became more and more popular. Governments, industries, and conservationists realized that the conservation of natural resources and the environment was crucial for achieving sustainable development. Thus, ecotourism, which aims at the quality tourism causing minimum damage to natural, social, and cultural environment, was developed. Ecotourism, though not in the name, was practiced even before the 1980s in different parts of the world in the different forms. Varying definitions have been given by different authors, but the underlying idea of the concept is to participate the responsible tourism to conserve the environment and to preserve it for posterity. Thank you.